truth,
Biden didn't do anything
very
wrong.
overwhelmingly has a liberal bias.
The right-wing people.
Yeah, those kinds of people are not necessarily based in reality.
What are they based in?
Ideological dogma,
Yeah.
bigotry,
Yep.
Hatred.
Yeah. Hatred.
ignorance. They'll like try to infiltrate news or whatever and say like, oh, we're gonna cut footage out of context to like make him seem bad.
So they're right-wing crazy.
Oh yeah. They'll like secretly record people and take things out of context and like shit like that.
And then what?
Oh, and release it and say, oh, this person said this, and
Yeah.
look how bad they are.
What's his name?
I forgot his name. James something.
James something. What is he doing now?
I don't care.
What would you say to someone like James? Like, if you ever run into him,
I'd probably ignore him.
you don't care about him at all. You think he's irrelevant.
I think so.
Yeah.
Mostly irrelevant.
We always hear the mainstream media is liberal and left-leaning, but I don't think that anyone can argue that is generally true. But just how deep does it go? First, what exactly is the mainstream media, or MSM as it's called? According to the Oxford Dictionary, the mainstream media is, quote, traditional or established broadcasting or publishing outlets. So here in America, the primary examples of that would be broadcast networks like ABC, CBS, or NBC.
Good morning, America. Good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Now, for years, one of ABC's shows, Good Morning America, or GMA as it's called, has been the most watched morning show in America. In fact, just this week, they sent out this tweet. With an average audience of almost 3 million viewers, GMA has tremendous amount of influence. Being owned and produced by one of the biggest broadcasting companies in America, does top-rated GMA have a bias? Let's meet Nick Cerrone, a segment producer and booker at ABC's Good Morning America.
So I work in booking for GMA. We're solely focused on getting the guests interviews for the show.
Is Nick a news guy or a purveyor of opinion and propaganda? Well, here's a little preview.
The truth,
Biden didn't do anything
very
wrong.
overwhelmingly has a liberal bias.
Truth has an overwhelmingly liberal bias? Really? Let's dig deeper into this Good Morning America producer. Our undercover journalist met Nick on the dating app Bumble. According to his dating profile, Nick is a single dog dad, newsman, and he'll cook for you. And of course, he's liberal. So let's dive in. Are shows like ABC's Good Morning America liberal?
Obviously, we're covering it in a neutral kind of a way. We're not a partisan.
Well, clearly Good Morning America is not biased, so case closed, right? Not so fast.
A particular story. Sure, if it's like something that's clearly positive for Biden, we're going to talk about that story, but it's not like we're going to say, hey, you guys all should vote for Biden because of it. Because that's
Right, not that obvious.
Right, that's not an appropriate thing for a broadcast news organization to do.
I can only assume that since they give Biden all that positive feel-good TV time, they must draw out the same respect for conservative counterparts as well.
We could talk about that forever because I find like right-wing crazies so fascinating on like a scholarly level.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm just like baffled about how they move through life operating on those, on that mindset.
Do you think they're like... Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I'm just kind of baffled. They have to be.
So they're basically propaganda machines.
Yeah, absolutely. Fox News is the biggest.
Are they seriously actively pushing Biden and the left-leaning ideology? It sort of looks that way. ABC is a broadcast company that holds FCC licenses, so we can assume they're giving Trump equal time.
Are you guys pushing for any stories and segments that would show how bad Trump is?
I mean, the thing about it is that it's plain as day. Even when we're just doing a general segment about him and what he's doing, we don't have to add any spin to it at all. Because it's plain as day. It's just factually.
But do you guys try to give those stories about how bad Trump is like more airtime so that people know?
I mean, anything he does is going to be newsworthy. a lot of what he does is very clearly bad. So
So you guys do.
facto, yes. But it's not. It's not as much as our stated goal is doing this to harm Trump.
So where does the actual truth lie in this type of broadcast?
Are we presenting it in a factual way? And again, sometimes the truth has a very clear slant in one direction.
Yeah, so you don't even need to try that hard to paint him in a bad light, so to speak. It's already bad.
ABC is clearly working a liberal angle. But wait, there's more. It appears they regularly bring in contributors and guest experts to take their dirty work even further.
Now, there are times when, yes, we'll have like a guest, like a contributor or a subject matter expert or something, and they can say all they want. They can say, this guy is a fucking evil piece of shit. They can say that, but when it's coming from, it's not appropriate for it to be coming from our reporters.
So what I'm hearing is that you can pick certain guests to come onto the show that will specifically highlight how shitty Trump is.
And that's my job in a lot of cases.
So you've been able to pick certain guests to go on the show that will basically talk shit about Trump.
Yeah, again, it's always just like very clear to day, so it's not like we really need to try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not a week goes by without a news headline about potential medical supply shortages, threats to our infrastructure or power grid. And you remember what they pulled during the last pandemic. Certain medications were mysteriously out of stock. No way will I ever let that happen again. In today's unpredictable world, it's all about being prepared for who knows what they have in store for the next pandemic. Our friends and supporters at the Wellness Company have designed this unique, prescription-based medical emergency kit that is packed with 8 potentially life-saving prescription-only medications, including Z-Pak and ivermectin, which I used myself while out on the road and starting to feel a bit under the weather. Health is everything, and this is a great opportunity to order a Wellness Company medical emergency kit. The Wellness Company medical emergency kit stands ready to treat over 30 common ailments, ensuring you'll have access to vital medications when you need them most. And now save $45 per kit when you order using the code OMG. Get ready to write this down. Get your Wellness Company medical emergency kit at twc.health/OMG. That's twc.health/OMG. That's twc.health/OMG. And save $45 per kit today when you use code OMG. Now, Nick Cerrone is a Good Morning America producer who drives the subject matter in a lot of segments in addition to guest booking. He's clearly biased.
We're supposed to present the truth.
I mean, but like you said, the truth is that Biden didn't do anything. Exactly.
The truth
Biden didn't do anything
very
wrong.
overwhelmingly has a liberal bias.
Yes, he actually said that. This ABC producer who purports to present the truth says that the truth has a liberal bias.
The truth
Biden didn't do anything
very
wrong.
overwhelmingly has a liberal bias.
On top of that, it's amazing to see how this ABC producer is so blatantly condescending towards the right.
I mean, I'm sure that statement would like outrage a lot of those like right-wing, like evangelical Christians, conservative Trump voters, right?
Absolutely, but they're not based in reality for the most part. Anyway,
The right-wing people.
yeah, those kinds of people are not necessarily based in reality, and you know,
What are they based in?
ideological dogma,
Yeah,
bigotry,
yep.
Hatred.
Yeah, hatred,
ignorance.
ignorance.
GMA's host is George Stephanopoulos. That's Bill Clinton's former press secretary. But having moved on years ago from the Clinton gig into the world of journalism, surely George has set aside his political biases by now.
What does George think about Trump now?
Fucking hates him. If I had to guess, just based on what I know about him and what I hear him say on the air and stuff, he's clearly thinks the guy's deranged.
So he hates Trump.
Oh, clearly, it's very clear.
Well, there's that. Fortunately for us, our brave undercover journalist is really good at her job. So good, in fact, that she actually brought me up in a meeting sitting across the table from an undercover journalist that works for me.
You don't want any spies. Right?
I mean, that stuff does happen.
What? Sabotage?
You go to Project Veritas.
What?
Project Veritas.
No, what's that?
It's basically their whole deal. They'll like try to infiltrate news or whatever and say like, oh, we're gonna cut footage out of context to like make him seem bad. It's, you know.
So they're right wing crazy.
Oh yeah. They'll like secretly record people and take things out of context, like shit like that.
And then what?
Oh, and release it and say, oh, this person said this, and
Yeah.
look how bad they are. You know.
What do you think of that?
it's obviously terrible.
Yeah. Why? Just because like they're attacking people.
Well, yeah, it's obviously it's misinformation.
What? This ABC producer who purports to present the truth, which according to him is slanting left, is now accusing me of producing misinformation? Tell me more.
Or how are they
There
still
people
around?
that will fund it, you know, right-wing crazies and whatnot.
What's his name?
I forgot his name. James something.
James something. What is he doing now?
I don't care.
Well, we're clearly on his radar, and ironically sitting across from him, hidden camera in tow, is one of our amazing undercover OMG American swipers taking it all in for you to see.
Do you guys talk, like in the newsroom, do you guys talk about like crazy groups like that?
Oh yeah.
What do you guys say about them?
That they're crazy.
What else?
To watch out for them.
I'm crazy. I'm the crazy one, but you're spilling all the beans to a stranger in a restaurant about how the truth is biased and I'm irrelevant, but you're watching out for me because I'm irrelevant. That doesn't really make any sense.
What would you say to someone like James? Like, if you ever run into him,
Probably ignore him.
you won't like go after him, be like,
I don't care about those people.
but they're hurting, like,
Yeah, sure. And they
Country.
can go live in their own worlds. You know?
you don't care about him at all. You think he's irrelevant.
I think so.
Yeah.
Mostly irrelevant.
Well, Nick, signing off from California, this is the irrelevant James O'Keefe. Let's see how irrelevant we actually are when we called Nick for comment. Here we go.
Hello?
Hey, is this Nick Cerrone?
Yes, this is Nick Strum.
Hey there. Hey, I got a question for you. This is James O'Keefe from OMG. You're on video saying, quote, the truth has an overwhelmingly liberal bias. I'd like to get your comment. We're about to publish the video of you in the restaurant telling the girl all the secrets about Good Morning America. Can we talk for a minute? And you hung up the phone. We'll see how irrelevant I actually am, Nick Cerrone. And that's why we use hidden cameras right there.